I won $18 million. But before I could even enjoy it, I was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Bob stood by my hospital bed, embracing his ex-wife and their 2 children. His callousness literally shocked me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I'd miraculously returned to the day of the lottery draw. I held the $18 million winning ticket, yet faced imminent death. For just $500. 000. I could buy myself a few more years. But Bob claimed he'd gambled away every penny. He lingered near the doorway, refusing to approach my bedside. Our accounts are empty, he said coldly. Even with treatment, you'd only gain a couple years at most. I'd fallen for Robert at 22. Love struck despite knowing he had 2 children from his first marriage. At 23, I'd defied my parents to run away with him. While others my age enjoyed carefree newlywed lives, I became instant stepmother to his 5-year-old son Jack and 2-year-old daughter Jess. For 12 years I toiled without rest, accumulating chronic illnesses while dismissing every ache to save household expenses. All those years, I'd believed our love was real. Show me proof, I demanded hoarsely. This lottery was mine. Yet decades of blind obedience had made me hand over the winning card to Bob's control. He laughed cruelly, tossing a bank statement at me. Check it yourself. Lost $3 million to poker last night with the guys. His crony suddenly became a high roller buddy, their usual $20 games now $1 million stakes. Temporary transfers. I realized. He'd reclaim the money after I died, leaving his reunited family wealthy. The children I'd raised since toddlerhood entered then, holding hands with their biological mother. Jack approached with rehearsed innocence. Mom, maybe you should stop treatment? I'm only 14, do you want me drowning in medical debt? Jess leaned against the wall chewing gum. Yeah. If you've got any cash left, give it to us now. Not worth the trouble. Not worth the trouble. 7 years earlier, I'd driven through a typhoon to save feverish Jess. When a tree smashed our windshield, I shielded her with my body. Now she shrugged, should have given up on me then. Not worth the trouble. The bitter irony choked me. Get out. All of you get out. You think I've been blind? Pouring my heart out to take care of you all this time? I'll hire a lawyer to sue. Every penny that belongs to me, not a single cent less. I needed that money to survive. I closed my eyes, refusing to look at these people another second. Yet someone just couldn't let me have peace. How can you be so selfish? Emily, their biological mother, glared at me with disapproval. The kids always said you mistreated them. But I never believed it. Now I see, you only care about yourself. I stared at her designer outfit, nausea rising. For over a decade, she'd only shown up on holidays, playing the doting mother by taking the 2 kids to fancy dinners and movies. That's all it took for them to adore her. Meanwhile, my years of sleepless nights and silent sacrifices meant nothing. Not even a tear from them. Stop arguing. My esteemed husband Bob finally strode into the hospital room, his arms snaking around Emily's waist. She can't afford a lawyer anyway. Let's see how long she lasts in this hospital bed. I fixated on that traitorous hand gripping her hip. Metallic blood flooding my throat until my vision blurred. Stop gawking. He sneered. We've been back together for months, just waiting for you to die. Emily smirked in triumph. I should have known. All those years of deluding myself. Now this happy family would coast through life with my lottery millions, no mortgage stress. No car repairs. Nothing but smooth sailing. Meanwhile, I'd rot alone in this hospital bed. Maybe only my parents would shed real tears when my death notice arrived. The blood taste thickened. One choked breath, then darkness. Through the haze, Bob's icy voice pierced through. Thank God Mom slipped her those pills years ago. Otherwise she'd never have raised our kids properly. Can you imagine if we'd had our own brats? Who'd take them now? How many miracles does one life get? I thought winning 18 million was my peak. But fate laughed and gave me a bigger prize. I blinked at the computer screen. A chat window with Bob glowed. Grab a lottery ticket after work. The date stamp jolted me. Today was the day. The numbers were originally his pick, though he always forgot to buy tickets, leaving it to me. Last life. I'd felt some cosmic pull toward his numbers, so I'd changed one digit. To my surprise, that single digit made me win the first prize. Since I'd doubled the stake, the total jackpot came to 18 million. The number Bob originally bought missed by one digit, landing him the second prize of over 700K. After steadying my breathing, I contemplated how to make those ungrateful snakes pay. Opening my phone messaging app, I typed frowny face honey. I have to work late tonight. Leftovers from breakfast are in the fridge, just heat them up. Have Jess run to get the lottery tickets. Not sure when I'll be done. Bob replied instantly, come home early. Got it. I sent a smiling emoji without changing expression. My overtime was a lie. Closing my laptop, I took a cab to a lottery shop in the next county. Trembling, I recited the winning numbers to the clerk. I bought only one ticket, terrified that buying more might alter the cosmic balance. Returning by subway, I got home around 8 p.m. The dining table looked like a tornado had hit. Bob lay sprawled on the couch watching TV. You're back, he mumbled without looking up. I hummed in response, eyeing the plastic container on the entryway shelf. This metal box held every lottery ticket we'd ever bought. Our ritual was to drop new tickets inside immediately after purchase. Retrieving the top slip, I sliced fruits for the kids. Jess was in her room painting, as usual. Since middle school started, she'd cycled through piano, ballet, and now art, each phase draining my savings while I wore thrift store blouses. Beautiful work, sweetheart, I lied, setting down the fruit plate. Thanks for helping Daddy earlier. You're such a good girl. She rolled her eyes. You made me go twice. So annoying. Confirmation it was her purchase. My pinky brushed her paint palette, collecting crimson pigment. I dabbed the stolen paint onto a digit of her ticket before flipping it over and tossing it near her bed frame. Good girl, I murmured, stroking her hair with cold fingers. Mommy's so sorry. By 9:30, the household had finished nighttime routines. I pretended to do laundry on the balcony, watching Bob through the sliding glass door. Our apartment sucked 6th floor walk up in a mediocre neighborhood, but the crumbling walls hid perfect sightlines to the living room TV. The lottery draw would start any minute. The apartment's layout was excellent, square and spacious with perfect north-south ventilation. Whether standing in the kitchen or on the balcony, the entire living room remained completely visible. At 10 p.m. sharp, the winning lottery numbers should have been published online. Right on cue, Robert abruptly straightened on the couch, phone trembling in his hands. 04, 08, 16, 22, 34, 03, 09. He chanted hoarsely. We won. We actually won. Bob, keep it down, I warned, wiping dishwater from my hands. The walls are thin. My husband's breathing grew ragged as he whisper-shouted. Second prize. 700,000. Jack burst from his bedroom first, eyes wild. Dad. For real? 5 main numbers plus the Powerball. Bob confirmed, already sprinting to the entryway storage box. He frantically kissed the top lottery ticket. 04, 08, 16, 22, 34, 03, 10. This changes everything. We're buying that McMansion in Maplewood Estates. Jess emerged more hesitantly, nervously twisting her hoodie strings. But that ticket's from September 4th. I interjected, feigning confusion. Didn't we buy today's on the 6th? The color drained from Bob's face. He snatched back the ticket, squinting at the date. Jess, did you forget to put the new tickets in the box? I thought, Jess stammered, patting her jeans pockets. Jack started overturning couch cushions. Check the laundry. Mom, you washed my jeans yesterday. Every pocket was emptied, I assured, watching Jess nearly dislocate her shoulder digging behind the refrigerator. The Johnsons' desperate scrabble contrasted sharply with my calm. After all, The real winning ticket currently rested in my locked cosmetic case. Its numbers memorized from this morning's pre-scratched barcode at the convenience store. Let them tear apart this rental. By dawn, I would be sipping margaritas in Cancun, leaving 3 frantic voices arguing over phantom lottery tickets in my wake. Bob's face grew increasingly pale. Jess hurried back to her room. Moments later, she emerged clutching a lottery ticket, bouncing excitedly. "Dad. I found it." Her face beamed with unrestrained joy. After delivering the news, she sighed with relief. At her words, everyone's eyes locked onto the ticket in her hand. But in her haste, she hadn't properly inspected it yet. Now standing still, she finally brought the ticket close to her face. In an instant, her complexion turned ashen. "Dad, what were the winning numbers again?" She stared at her trembling hands, unable to stop shaking. Bob snatched the ticket. The once pristine ticket now bore a smear of bright red. A long crimson streak trailed from the numbers. It resembled a trail of bloody tears. His eyes bulged with fury. The lottery required 7 numbers in total. 5 in the main section, 2 in the supplementary. Bob had originally matched 5 plus 1, a second-tier prize. Now, the second supplementary number on Jess's ticket was smudged. Only the 5 main numbers remained legible. The ticket instantly downgraded to a 5th-tier prize worth $3,000. Bob said nothing, mechanically moving to the table and sinking into a chair. He meticulously scraped at the dried pigment with his fingernail. Unfortunately, the number had become completely illegible. "Dad," Jess approached, timidly tugging his sleeve. "I didn't mean to." Slap. Bob backhanded her across the face. The force sent her staggering sideways. She wailed. "Dad. Don't call me that. You can't even handle simple tasks." He pounded the tabletop. Head bowed. "That was $70,000. I gently stroked his hair. "It's okay. Honey. We'll just tighten our belts until the kids are grown. The car just needs repairs, no need for a new one yet. Everything will work out." His workplace rival had recently bought a new car. He'd been nagging me about it constantly, hinting that I should cut expenses to fund his upgrade. My reasonable suggestions only fueled his rage. He suddenly kicked Jessica. "All you do is waste time on those stupid art classes. Look what your painting nonsense did to my ticket. What's the point of raising you?" Jess, never treated this way before, retorted, "Then why make me buy it? Why force lessons if you'll just blame me? Why didn't you buy the damn ticket yourself? Good job yelling at me. We live on the 6th floor. And once we climb those stairs, nobody wants to move an inch. I've always been the designated errand runner." Bob was so furious he grabbed the feather duster, swinging it high before bringing it down hard. The air whistled with each strike, punctuated by dull thuds against flesh and Jess's melodious wails. I feigned distress, hand clamped over my mouth to stifle laughter. By the time Bob exhausted himself, he stormed off clutching the lottery ticket. When I tried helping Jess up, she slapped my hand away. "Stop pretending to care. Why didn't you stop him earlier?" "I'm sorry, sweetheart." I sniffled. "I've never seen your father this angry." Even Jack froze. Jess shot her brother a venomous glare. Jack shrugged awkwardly. It happened too fast. Limping to her room, Jess left us in tense silence. I doubted any of them would sleep well tonight. Curling up on the couch, I plotted my next move. At dawn, I prepared 3 separate breakfasts, fried dough sticks and soy milk for Bob, noodles for Jack, and a ham sandwich for Jess. For years, I'd catered to their finicky tastes, skipping a single preference meant sulking and untouched meals. This daily PUA conditioning had erased my identity. My sacrifices meaningful only to myself. The gas stove's flame died with a hiss. Our older neighborhood still used antiquated appliances. This temperamental burner my constant headache. Suddenly, the solution to last night's dilemma crystallized. Taking a sick day, I visited the hospital. Last life. My late-stage lung cancer diagnosis came 6 months post-lottery win. Current tests showed clean results. But I obtained a terminal patient's report, altered the name at a print shop, and purchased $3 million life insurance using forged dates, crinkling the documents and sprinkling water droplets for tear effects. I strolled home past the lottery store. Their banner proclaimed celebrating $780,000 Powerball winner. In garish letters. The blaring loudspeaker drawing crowds. I wondered what face Bob would make after work. He exploded the moment I entered. "Where's dinner?" I remembered our early marriage days. Overwhelmed caring for 2 stepkids until he kindly brought his mother from the countryside. Suddenly I was juggling 3 critics while he offered empty bedtime consolations. Foolishly believing he cared. I broke my back literally, developing chronic lower back strain hauling groceries and children up 6 flights. Gathering the family. I produced my crumpled medical report. Late-stage lung cancer. Their shocked silence tasted sweeter than any lottery win. "I'm not going through with treatment anymore." I lowered my head, wiping non-existent tears. "The doctors said even if I recover, I won't live long. We've saved nothing these years, I won't burden the family further." My selflessness visibly pleased them. The group theatrically dabbing at dry eyes. "Don't worry." I forced myself to hug Bob and his 2 children. Bile rising in my throat. An old classmate sold me a life insurance policy, $3 million payout. Who knew it'd come in handy? "Bob, after I'm gone, send $1 million to my parents. I've failed them." His head snapped up. $3 million? The policy trembled in his hands as I casually dropped my final wish. "Let me borrow $200,000 from friends. I want to enjoy my last days, bathed in dollar signs." He agreed instantly. His mouth twitched with suppressed glee even as he fake mourned. "I've failed you, sweetheart. Disgusting hypocrite." Next day, I emptied the family account under Bob's pained gaze. The man who'd once showered me with roses now winced at spa receipts. How naive I'd been, a fresh graduate seduced by his tales of a gold-digging ex-wife. Believing myself some saint saving him. The mask slipped after our courthouse wedding, revealing the lazy, inept leech beneath. I hired a PI to tail Bob while planting cameras everywhere. Our home transformed into my stage. Jack barged in, "Mom, where's dinner? Terminal patients need rest." "Honey." Jess whined about unwashed performance outfits, "Dying people don't do laundry." "Sweetie." When Bob complained about dirty floors, "Bob, I'm literally dying." The $3 million carrot kept them compliant. My favorite game became micromanaging Bob's cooking. "The stove's faulty. Darling. Watch the flame." Within days, the household unraveled. The PI's photos confirmed everything, Bob reuniting with his ex. Her tear-streaked face buried in his chest. His hand roaming familiar curves. Pathetic. She dumped him for greener pastures. Only to circle back when bankruptcy hit her gambler husband. 2 cockroaches deserved each other. Yet bitterness lingered. I'd wasted years excusing his laziness. Clinging to sunk cost fallacy. No more. Let them scheme over imaginary millions while I sip margaritas on their dime. The cameras rolled, capturing every twitch toward betrayal. Soon, very soon, the curtain would fall on this farce. The next day, I met with the private investigator and assigned him a new task. "You want me to arrange multiple groups to casually mention the poisoning incident around the target?" His puzzled expression didn't escape me. But I simply repeated, "Yes. Make sure it's done subtly. I just want the idea planted in their minds. And to give them an exit strategy down the line." "Easy enough." He agreed, pocketing the payment with a thoughtful glance but no further questions. That night, after draining my accounts, I sent Bob a text, frowny face, "Honey. Had my follow-up today. Guess what? The doctor said it was a misdiagnosis. I'm perfectly healthy." Guilt prickled my conscience as I powered off my phone, savoring Cabernet in a 5-star hotel tub. The $300,000 had dissolved like sea foam. Bob had spent weeks fantasizing about his windfall. No way he'd let that slip through his fingers. Especially after my recent shopping therapy left him drowning in debt. A selfish man like him wouldn't take this lying down. As for his ex-wife, last life, she deliberately provoked me at my sickbed to worsen my condition. Two venomous souls perfect for each other. I genuinely hoped they'd find happiness together. Our home security feeds showed daily meltdowns. Furniture slammed. Voices cracking like whips. Until the day they appeared together in our kitchen. Obsessively clicking the stove burner. This could work. The ex-wife murmured. Bob's face darkened. Once we start, there's no going back. She embraced him. We're not to blame. She deserves this. Game time. I returned home. The door hadn't fully closed when Bob's palm cracked across my face. Understandable, I'd accidentally bankrupted us. Where the hell have you been? He roared. Throat working around unspoken words. You're not dying? What about my money? Getting refunds? I sniffled. Transferring the last $82. This is all that's left. You irresponsible bitch. Don't worry. I grabbed his arm. I'll get jobs. We'll rebuild. His tirade ended with suggestions: try live streaming. Use your medical records for sympathy donations. Everyone's doing it. But that's fraud. Just evenings. You'll job hunt mornings. Cook lunches. Rest afternoons. His rehearsed script confirmed my suspicions. I agreed. Waiting for the trapdoor. Thus began my 2 a.m. streaming marathons. Playing the modern-day Nora Helmer for pocket change. I logged every $5 donor for future repayment. Exhaustion gnawed my bones. But Bob's impatience saved me. The final act began post-lunch. As I napped per instructions. He lingered in the living room. Phone glowing in his palm. The gas lines faint his harmonized with my pounding heartbeat. Not long after, I heard Robert Johnson enter the room and softly call my name. Having anticipated his intentions, I'd never truly allowed myself to fall asleep these past weeks. He tiptoed out again. I checked the security feed to see him entering the kitchen, turning on the gas stove to simmer broth. Meticulous as ever, he'd indeed been mentioning cooking nourishing soups daily, sometimes even prompting me via text about tonight's menu. He lingered by the stove. But today's stubborn blue flame refused to die. Impatiently checking his phone, he typed a message before finally bending to blow out the fire. I watched every movement through the cameras. After sniffing the air suspiciously, he left looking satisfied. Lying motionless. I thought, if we're staging a performance, let's make it convincing. Only when the gas odor thickened did I dial 911. Gasping dramatically, "This is Phoenix Heights Building 3 Unit 401, gas leak, dizzy." I deliberately hyperventilated until spots danced in my vision. Then held my breath to open windows before collapsing. Waking in hospital? Bob sat vigil by my bed. Mask of concern intact. "Thank God you're awake." He fawned. "For what? Disappointment I survived?" A neighboring patient chimed in, "Your husband rushed here immediately. Stayed for hours." I smirked silently. With evidence secured, I muttered, "Not feeling well," and shut my eyes. Discharged next morning. I handed attorneys the entire surveillance archive, every incriminating text. Every sabotaged stove session captured in HD clarity. Modern technology proved kind. Their affair timeline and attempted murder played seamlessly in court. Watching the damning footage, Bob erupted, "You scheming bitch. Since when did we have cameras? This is entrapment." My lawyer calmly cited home security laws as I remained silent. The judge sentenced him to 8 years for attempted murder. His ex-wife getting 2 for conspiracy. Outside court, Jack and Jess cornered me with venom. I absorbed their curses impassively until selling our house finalized the divorce. Only then did panic set in. "Mom, you wouldn't abandon us?" Jess clutched my sleeve, mirroring that deathbed scene from my previous life. I peeled her fingers away. "I'm 35. Expect me to drag 2 anchors through life?" Her tears fell as I stated coldly, "Your real mother gets released in 2 years. You 4 Johnsons share the same blood, greedy. Cruel. Terminally stupid. 12 years I wasted trying to change that." At the prison visit, Bob resembled a wilted plant until seeing me. Rage revitalized him. After everything I gave you. He spat. I smiled. Such generosity, stealing my chance at motherhood. Trapping me for 12 years. His shock confirmed he never expected me to discover the fertility drug's true purpose. Those health tonics your mother brewed? Quite the plot twist. Turning from his cell, I breathed free air for the first time in over a decade. Let the Johnsons rot in their self-made hell. If it were my past self, I'd want to ask Bob whether he ever loved me or considered having a child of our own. But having died once, I no longer care about such things. Childbirth is agonizing. Yet I gave you 2 children painlessly. Shouldn't you be grateful? His audacity stunned me. Gave you 2 children? You mean you found 2 free nannies for Jack and Jess? By the way, after you and that woman got locked up, nobody wanted to take those kids in. Even if Child Protective Services stepped in, they'd only support them until adulthood. With their academic performance, what decent schools could they possibly get into? Let's just say, it's complicated. I'll wish them luck. Most likely, they'll end up living as mediocre lives as yours. You bitch. I'll kill you when I get out. He raged impotently. Try finding me first. Thankfully, everything concluded within 2 months. I cashed my lottery ticket and returned to my hometown to reunite with my parents. Over a decade had aged them considerably. But it wasn't too late. Having never traveled far in their lives, I took them exploring across the country. We wandered leisurely before settling in a picturesque city. The road ahead remains long.